In this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about sorting and a couple other functions that you can use with lists. So we talked about the sort list method, which actually changes the list itself and makes the list sorted. But there's another function, a function called sorted, which will sort the list and let you save it to and make a new copy so you can save it to a new variable. Like, for example, here's nums, some numbers. And if you use the sorted function, you stick the list nums in there, and it'll sort it, and it'll store it in sorted nums. Okay, so when we run this, nums itself will not be changed, so it'll still be out of order, but sorted will be sorted. So these are out of order. Well, it's the original order, and these are sorted numerically. So you may wonder why you might need to have a copy. Like if, for example, you wanted to print the sorted numbers, you think you could print the nums and then use the list method, which sorts the numbers. But this list method sorts the list, but its return value, it doesn't return anything. Your return value is just none. So look at this. It actually just printed none. It's not what you wanted. But if you print nums right after it, you can see that it really did sort it. So nums is sorted at this point. Like another example would be in a for loop, for I in, and you might want to have it go through a sorted number list. Then you would use the function, etc., blah, blah, blah. Okay, you would not want to use the nums.sort because once again that returns just none, and so for I and none it wouldn't even go through the loop at all. So just to be clear, if you did want to print a sorted list, you would use sorted function, and this would work as you expect. Let's talk a little bit about sorting characters and strings. By default, sorting is case sensitive because it just uses the ASCII value and orders it by that, where the uppercase, the capitals, become first. So even though C is not the first letter in the alphabet, C is a capital, so it puts those first. So if you use the default method of sorting, it puts the capital letters first, then lowercase, which is probably not what you want. So if you want to do a case insensitive sort, what it essentially does is you can sort it based on a custom criteria. The key, what you're going to use to sort, is you're going to make it a lowercase. So you're going to sort it based on the lowercase value, not on what's there. So when we do this, the case insensitive sort does work. It converts everything to, well, it sorts it based on if it were lowercase. It still doesn't change the original values. That's still uppercase, but it's in alphabetical order now. And this is really powerful because you can make your own key. Like here's just a random one where you want to sort it based on how long each string is. Then you can just put the name of the function there. You can even have this key be your own function. So you can sort it based on something exotic, like the second letter in every word or whatever. And here you go. This sorts it by how long the string is. So let's say you wanted to find the largest element in a list. So here that would be 15. But one way to do it is to sort it, and now that it's sorted out numerically, take the last element of that list, and that'll find the right answer for you. It'll give you 15. That's overkill because think about it. If you have a really long list, the computer has to sort everything just to find the last one. There's a quicker way where you can use the max function. So let me just show you really quickly how the max function works. You can use the max function with anything with lists, but you can also just put numbers in here, and this will work this will print 12 as a maximum. So you can use quite a few functions that you think could just be appropriate for numbers. You can do it with lists, and Python will do the right thing. So here, this max function will go through the list of numbers and find the maximum number. Likewise, min is a function you could use with numbers or lists, and it'll give you -7 as the minimum of the function. And what happens if you want to find the sum of all the numbers in the list? Most programming languages, you'd run through the list. You'd start by initializing your total to be 0. You'd run through all the numbers in a for loop. And every time you hit a number, you add it to the total. And you print the total out. In this case, it runs through the numbers, adds them up, and it gets 11. But there is a sum function, and that just, once again, is a whole lot easier. So most of the time, you don't need to be as verbose as in other programming languages. Finally, we're going to do another example with a function that you can use with a list. This will print the list, okay? And this will convert the list to a string and then print it. But it isn't as nice as you would think. It pretty much looks the same way as you say print without the word string. So this is now a string, but what happens if you wanted to join all these together and make one big long string? And here's how you do that. There is a string function called join. And since it's a string function, and this is kind of weird, you start with the string that you want to put in between each word. Like I'm going to have the word pow, put an exclamation point, and then put a space. Then I'll put zap, exclamation point, space, and so forth. So here's the string. I'm going to put things together, and you're going to join that with cartoon noses. And let's see what that looks like. So it did that. This is a quick way to concatenate lots of elements in a list. Again, the old school way would be, or other programming languages way would be to run through the list, start with a blank string, and append things to the list as you go through a for loop. You don't need to here.